Hello everyone, this is Sandeep Bose and I'm welcoming you all to the another new episode of Passion Podcast, episode 4. This time we have a guest who is also an Ielts trainer and she will share her expertise about Ielts and communication skills. So let's welcome Krithika Krishna. Hi Krithika, how are you doing?
Hi Sandeep, I'm doing really very well. Thank you so much. And how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. So, I was just giving an introduction of yours to my audience, and I was letting them know that you are also an IELTS trainer because the last episode that I we shot, where also we had a guest, she's also an IELTS trainer, right? So, before I proceed and begin, I would like to know from you that apart from teaching students on IELTS, what are the other things you prefer to do in your day-to-day life?
So, professionally, it's more into English language teaching, working as a communication coach. So, expertise is primarily in these test prep examinations like IELTS, TOEFL, PT, SAT. Other than that, I am a working mother, so I have, as part of my day-to-day activities, taking care of my 9-year-old, and I am also into Bharatanatyam, a classical dance form of India. So I practice that, and I'm taking my training under Guru Srimati Kanaka Sudhakar. She's the founder director of Nitya Bharati School of Dance and Music. So I am a proud disciple of Guru Srimati Kanaka Sudhakar. So my daily activity would include working on my classes where I teach, the classes where I learn, I teach my daughter, and then some family time. So this is how the day usually goes like.
Yeah, so I would like to thank you on behalf of my team that you have managed to get time for the podcast. And my next question is that how do you manage time? Because you do multiple things, like you are a teacher. At the same time, you create amazing contents on Instagram. So I've seen personally a few of your contents. Those are really interesting and innovative and very creative. So I believe that there must be a lot of brainstorming goes before you make or decide which content to go with than to shoot, because I also create content. So I know how hectic it is to shoot the content, manage the light, everything, soundproof, then editing. So it's a time consuming. And at the same time, you mentioned that you are mother of a 9-year-old kid, I think,
Yes.
and also you are a Bharatanatyam dancer, right? So it is difficult for you to manage time to do all these things.
So it's like during the week, it's more into my uh, career wherein I'm a trainer, where I'm teaching people. But over the weekends, I become a learner. So my classes of Bharatanatyam, they are held over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. So my entire time, like the day starts with the practice and everything, and then I have evenings of Sundays a little relaxed for myself. Other than that, when you asked about creating content, managing time, I'm more of a person who likes to plan things out for a particular day or for a particular week. So I tend to write what I need to do. I create a to-do list, and then I completely keep on it, checking it out, like what all I have accomplished and all. So I am a person who's like more organized when it comes to my work, and even for household activities also. I have a whiteboard at my place, where instead of using it for teaching, I use it for putting all my things to do for work and for home, like getting up at this particular time, exercising, making breakfast, or working for doing certain things for my daughter. I write that, and then my daughter and I, we together try to see what all we have accomplished. So there's a kind of planning for the whole day which we try to stay rigid to it and follow it. Sometimes we are unable to manage time due to certain things which go unexpectedly, unplanned. But then this is how we do, every day we try to plan it out and try to follow a routine. Time management is actually a skill which
Yeah.
I think we need to keep learning and polishing. I have come a long way. I was very poor at time management, but I think with the years of experience in your professional and personal life, I think one manages it somehow, learns it somehow, and sometimes you need to learn it by observing other people and by reading books and by following what others are doing. So all this has helped me. So one thing is that I create a to-do list. I strictly follow that. If you ask about the content that I create for my Instagram or for my YouTube page, so I would say I'm kind of a very spontaneous person when it comes to creating content for be it for entertainment or for education. So I don't sit and draft something that I need to do this. So something, if something clicks me at that moment, um, I tend to make that as a video immediately. So it's not a lot of planning in that, but I think for all the professionals out there, it's more important that one even shares the content in an organized fashion, if in case they're looking for more growth. I believe when it comes to their social media platforms. But my agenda is different. I'm like, if it is helpful, I create it and I post it, and not too bothered about what numbers or figures I see on it. But it's like, I just create it. It's helpful. Let's create it. So this is my thought process.
Yeah. So you mentioned about time management and
Hmm.
prioritizing the work, right? And since you talked about to-do list, I believe that you set goals for yourself, that this is your goal for the day or maybe for a week, and you tend to work towards it,
Right.
right? This is how you prefer to do your work, right?
Absolutely. Otherwise, it's like without a direction, you're spending your day. There's nothing in your mind. And then there have been times when I have seen myself not create a to do list, and I really panic in those days. And things don't go well for me. So for me, it's more appropriate when I am planning things out and I'm following that routine. So this is how I work.
Right. So you are an IELTS trainer. At the same time, you are a soft skill coach, communication coach. You are a PT trainer and TOEFL trainer. So what is PT? I'm curious to know what the full form of PT.
So these all are different exams. We can call them as English language proficiency test. So one is
Mhm.
IELTS, International English Language Testing System. Then you have TOEFL, the test of English as foreign language, and then the third one is Pearson test of English. So it's just
Okay.
like different bodies have created this test and they have got a global acceptance. So in
Right.
many countries, like when people are applying for immigration or if they are
Mhm.
applying for higher studies, so one
Okay.
out of these three tests has to be taken. So if
Right.
you, for your requirements in the university when you're applying, so they may tell you that you either you take any one of these three or you take any one one particular test. So
Okay.
some universities will say you have to take only IELTS. Some may say
Hmm.
any proficiency test would work. So
Hmm.
accordingly, a person as an individual, if I'm planning to go abroad for my higher studies, then I'll have to pick whichever I find most convenient. Although they all are, when you call in terms of difficulty, I'll say they are equal. But then,
Okay.
depending upon the country that you're choosing and the kind of test paper that you're more comfortable to take, you attempt that. And then you have PTE. If suppose you are applying for Australian immigration, then PTE is what they ask. Otherwise,
Okay.
IELTS is globally accepted, and most universities, TOEFL has also got now a global acceptance. More than I think many countries and many universities now accept TOEFL scores too. But out of these three, of course, IELTS is the most popular. That's what most people prefer.
Right. And how do you started this journey? Since childhood, you are always curious to become a teacher, or you wanted to teach English or communication. Tell me the situation or the first thing which came to your mind when you thought that you will become a trainer.
So it so happened that if I go back in past, I mean in my childhood, whenever I used to study, my method was that I used to become a teacher myself. My father had
Right.
got me this, in those old days we had this blackboard which we used to hang, and it was, I don't know what material they used it. We could simply roll it and then hang it on the wall, and I had all my chalk boxes, And I
Yeah.
used to, every day, whatever I learned in school, I would come back, I would first study on my own, and then to revise those concepts, I used to be a teacher in my own room. I used to write everything and explain it to an invisible set of students, create
Okay.
my own imaginary world where I am a teacher. And I used to study that way. This was my method of studying, not teaching.
Mm.
So I never knew that I would eventually be a teacher. This is, I'm talking about when I was in grade 5, 6, 7, 8. I think throughout I have studied this way. I still remember
Okay.
all the biology, chemistry lessons that I used to have in school. I used to come back home, write it on my board, and I used
Mm.
to, teach and study to retain the concepts. So by the time I reached grade 10, I also started conducting, coaching classes for science and maths for class 7th, 8th, and ninth, for juniors, those who were juniors to me. Then I still remember when I was studying in my college days, I was conducting classes for particularly science and mathematics up to grade 10, not 11, 12, but up to grade 10. It didn't
Mm.
strike me anywhere that I wanted to be a teacher. I was more like my imagination, I mean, my inclination was towards science and being a doctor. But to be very honest, I never took it seriously. I never studied the preparation that is needed to be a person who gets into the field of medicine. I never did
Yeah.
that. So in those days, there were certain circumstances where I had to give up my studies, and I thought that okay, I'll do a job, and at the same time I'll pursue something which I like. Though I was a student of food technology for a year, I was doing well in that, but it didn't interest me somehow. Upon a family member suggestion, I joined it. It did not interest me. I mean, learning about food, preservatives, jam, marmalades, cakes, it did not interest me. I was doing well. I passed with first division in my first year. So something was hitting me that this is not what I want to do in life. So in those days, when I was in my college first year, we had a subject of communication in food technology. So that time,
Okay.
our professor asked us to create a presentation on communication. I think,
Okay.
particularly for me, there was a topic which was about presentation and communicating. So
Okay.
I started reading a lot in those days. And I remember I read this book by Mr. Shiv Khera. You may have
Okay.
heard of
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Very
So
famous motivation speaker.
that was, I think, the journey when for me it also started. So he has also written that success is not a destination, it's a journey. So kind of a goal that
Yeah.
you have, so it's like a journey, so you reach
Have
one
you
step.
have you gone through his life story, like his earlier life, and then
Not
after that?
yet, but I have read that book, You Can Win. It's really inspired me. I mean, I was back in my teenage that time, and when I made my presentation, I used the content from what he mentioned. Every part of
Yeah.
communication, like what about failure, and how should be your style of communicating, and the different anecdotes that he had shared. I went through it, and I had made a complete, presentation for myself that I'm going to present as a speaker on this. So I had that idea in my mind, but unfortunately, that presentation didn't take place. But it started from there that I felt that I think I can face the public, though I did not. But that was the point when I felt that I can face public and talk. Then I started working. I started my career in the BPO industry, and while working, I was like quite observant, and I used to grab things quickly. So I think it all started from there. And when I joined an
You worked
organization,
as a worked as a caller in the BPO.
yes, I joined at an associate level, and that was a learning phase. And I think I learned a lot from that exposure. Because when
Mm.
I reached another organization, when the trainer was conducting session where he was teaching something about vowels and consonants, I could connect with it. I was like, I can do this. This is something that I have that zeal and that potential, and I used to teach my colleagues in those days, and they were able to grab it. So that's when it started, that maybe this is something that I'm meant to do, because I was good at calling. I used to get good feedback from my superiors, but still that did not thrill me much. I mean, it was like I was doing it. maybe at that point in time it was more about maintaining a financial stability, but it did not interest me much. There was no pushing factor, there was no motivation. But then I started looking for right opportunities, and then when I stepped as an English language trainer with one organization, that's when I realized that no, this is what I'm supposed to do, and what else I had been doing so far did not make much sense. But they had their own share of teaching me something. I won't regret that I did so and so, or I was working with these multiple organization. uh, Everything has made me what I am today. So those experiences have been great. And I think now it's been over 15 years of being an individual in the education and training industry as such. So this is way beyond those 15 years. That's then I started. So it has all been a learning experience. I'm still learning.
Yeah, rightly said. There is no end of learning, and why I can relate to you because I also started my career with Wipro, and I was also a
Go.
customer care
I
representative.
was also in the pro. That was my
Oh, you
first
were
job.
also in Wipro. Okay, I was in Kolkata. Okay,
All right.
yeah,
I was
it
in
was back
Delhi
Delhi.
with.
Okay,
I think it was called Spectra Mind, in
okay, okay.
back in those days, 2004, I think.
2004, I joined in 2013,
Oh,
and
okay.
there I learned many things, as you mentioned. From the voice and accent trainer, that how to communicate, how to improve your pronunciation. They used to do different tongue twisters, to
Hmm.
make sure that you pronounce the words correctly. So from there, I thought that I really liked that environment of training, and I felt that I can also same thing like you said that I can do that too. So I felt that I can also do the same thing. I'm still in touch with those trainers. Those trainers are amazing. Their body language, communication, everything, accent. And you told about Shiv Khera. Shiv Khera is one of my favorite authors, I will say, because I read one of his books, which is You Can Sell. I can see the book right in front of me. So why I asked you that, he is from India. He went to US for better opportunity career. He was married and he has a daughter. That time. In the 70s, early 70s. He joined as a sales guy in a insurance service, and he
Hmm.
was a terrible sailor. He could not sell insurance for a month,
Hmm.
and his boss said that you will be fired. You are good for nothing. You cannot sell a single insurance, because he thought that selling insurance will give him a good fortune. Sales and
Hmm.
marketing was a huge back then. Now also, so. But he was not able to do that, and he was crying. He was driving back home. He has bills to pay. You know,
Hmm.
um, he was married, having a kid. But suddenly, he realized that he cannot quit this, and he went to a customer and he started, talking about the insurance. And he was not going out. He was just sitting there with the customers. And after 3 hours, the customer said, "How much should I pay you to get rid of you from my house?" And there he sold his first insurance. And after that, he was in that business, I mean in that job profession, for 35 years as a insurance sailor.
Hmm. Hmm.
So all this experience of 35 years he has accumulated in his books. So
Hmm.
those who are not aware of Mr. Sheikh Khera, they can read, and they can also get a lot of benefit as a trainer, or if you are in sales or any profession, no matter what. So thank you so much for bringing that topic. And
I think anybody who is wanting to bring some kind of change in their personality or mindset, I would say it's a must read.
must
Mr.
read, yeah, yeah,
Shikara's You Can Win is an amazing book.
yeah. Who Can Win and Who Can Sell, and other books are also there.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. So interesting story about your teaching and training. But I see that you are very active on social media and you create content. So you said that this thing comes to you naturally, right? So but it is not that easy what you're saying, because I also tried doing it and I see other people doing it. How do you perceive an idea, and how do you come to a conclusion that this will be the final product? And you said that you don't think that too much about if people like it or not. You just make it because you
Hmm.
feel or you believe in that material. How do you perceive this idea? How do you finalize the conclusion? And how do you plan this whole process of editing, video making? I see that you do a lot of facial expressions and body movements, which makes the videos more interactive. So how do you develop this? I believe you must be a good movie watcher, or you there is an actor in you who wants to come out of the curiosity.
I don't know. Maybe if I get an opportunity, I've never explored the acting side. But then let's see, if God gives me an opportunity, why not? I would like to try. But I guess maybe it's because I don't know, I tend to be a little more expressive. Sometimes I feel like I should tone it down, but then it just naturally happens. However, when it comes to sharing some information with on the social media platforms, especially like what I create on my page, I do it with these things in mind, which I observe my students making as a mistake. So, like for example, when it comes to writing, when I evaluate any writing task, a very basic error that we see is the word I, which is always, written in a lowercase by people. So I've made a short reel on it that, I is, as a person, can never be in small case. It
Okay.
has to be always uppercase, for example. Or even till now, starting from where I mean, if I go back in the to the year 2006, let's say, till now it's 2022. One error that I keep correcting is when people introduce themselves and they say myself and their name. So recently I created another reel. This was like last year also I did one, that it's never myself and your name. It's always hi, I am, or my name is. So whatever I see in my class, my students making as a mistake, I get that as an idea and I feel that okay, let me share this. Though I do it in the class as well, but there are many more people like my students who do not have any access to a regular class, who may be
Hmm.
just watching Instagram or YouTube as a mode of entertainment. So maybe if they get to see, they'll learn something. So that's the only intent. So I make content which I feel this is a mistake which many are making and maybe they can improve by watching it. If at all it is reaching them, I am not totally tech savvy, to be very
Hmm.
honest. Whatever I'm doing is whatever I've learned by myself, keeping the phone in hand. So I don't know how it is perceived by other people, but I just create whatever I like. Sometimes I do get encouragement, like you have also shared that it looks great, but I am not at all tech savvy. I'm just still learning. I don't believe in copying others, because a lot of people do a lot of entertaining things, but I think we need to, there is a line that we have to draw when it comes to imparting education. Every time you can't be dancing and singing along. So you need to give them valuable information, irrespective of how it is, entertainment factor is there or not. Wherever it is needed, you put them, but I don't think so it is needed every time. Because if people want to learn, they are coming with that perspective, they want to learn and get a valuable content. So I think in those terms, and I try to figure out, like, if I am watching, would I give it a complete, time to watch it? Like, I also try to learn from my peers and other content creators, whatever they're creating. I see, okay, does it suit my style, the way I would convey information? If it does, then I make something related to that and I post it. So otherwise, not thinking so much. There's no overthinking or being over analytical about the content I want to put. If I like it, I take help from my daughter these days. I tell her that maybe, my face can be too monotonous. Your presence can add something, and children will also learn. Though I never taught children much, but I thought that, okay, if, and she learns
what
this.
what she thinks about this content creation, and what is her reaction?
She enjoys it. She tells me, well, you should put it every day.
That
I
I
had
can see by that video how much she enjoys.
she loves it. I think she can do better than me, because I
Yeah.
fumble at things, but she does it really well. And she learns through it. And I feel that whatever, like, we work on making communication better, using the right word choices. So when I'm making this and she's also along with me, I feel that great. It's a learning experience for her too. So I don't have to specifically correct her every time. She learns through. participation and also watching me speak. Then I take classes, she's around, so she watches everything and she has learned a lot through this.
Right. So this profession of training, so it's always like influencing others. You are influencing somebody else with your actions, with your movements, with your words. So words matter a lot, right? Communication skills, soft
Correct.
skills plays an important role in imparting this quality. So I want to ask you that: do you have any role model now, or did you have anybody whom you look up to as a speaker or a trainer? You mentioned that in the BPO industry, you felt that this is something you want to do, but do you follow any particular person in general, or you take inspiration from all the great speakers or uh,
There
soft
is no
skills?
one person to answer this. There's no one person. I get inspired by anybody who is who has a great sense of humor when they are on stage, when they are on a platform. They know how to intonate. They are able to maintain eye contact with their audience, and they're able to make the speech lively. I get inspired from all such people. So there is no one person that I could name. I mean, when I watch television or when I watch interviews of different celebrities, also, I like their way of speaking. So when people ask me, when even I have to share with people that you should start watching other people speak in English, learn from it, and see how they are using their word choices, how naturally it comes. So maybe if we are not gifted speakers, we can still acquire that skill. So I feel that there is nothing impossible. If you want to learn something, you can also learn and then excel as well. So I get inspired by a lot of people. Could be famous people, the public figures, or it could even be people I'm every day interacting with. Sometimes even my students speak so well, whom I have not trained much, but the way they speak is flawless, and they have great style. Sometimes it's not about using grand choice of words, but that impact, that presence of mind which they have while interacting. I really like that, and I get inspired from everybody.
You want to take any particular name of any celebrity or any speaker whom you look up to or watch, follow closely?
Though there's no following anyone closely, but then among Indian celebrities, I really admire the way Shah Rukh Khan speaks in any of the platforms. I find his style totally impeccable. I mean, I can't find any flaws in his speech. He's such a
Yeah,
natural. We when we say that he's got the gift of the gab, he's like that. And other
Delhi connection.
delete maybe, but he speaks really well. I mean, anytime I watch any of his shows where he's on the stage, I normally tend to, if at all I give time and I want to watch something, I would watch those where they are on the international platforms, just to see how they
Right.
are. So I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the way Shah Rukh Khan interacts. I also like the way Aishwarya Rai responds to questions, or Priyanka Chopra responds to questions. I feel that there is a lot to learn when when these people with a lot of power in their personality, and also with the being with the tag of being public figures, how they handle everything, how they tackle it, how they are addressing questions. Sometimes questions can be offensive, how they tackle it. I try to learn through it that, okay, when something is being asked, when you can definitely lose your temper, how are people responding, not reacting but responding. So I like to see all that. So there's no one person. I watch whatever I watch, I try to learn from it. But uh, one person I would like to name, whose shows I really like because of his comic element and the way he talks, and he
Kapil Sharma.
not Kapil Sharma, but on a similar note, I think Jimmy Fallon. There is a
Okay,
show that
Jimmy Fallon. Yeah, I am.
I really
I'm
like
a big
his show
fan of Jimmy
and the
Fallon.
way he talks. Of course, Kapil Sharma, I would like to add that I think that sense of humor is one thing, and then coming up with that, he's so witty, quick-witted, we'll say. Instantly, how do they get that response? Sometimes I feel that, wow, I should possess such traits. When somebody is communicating, I'm able to come up with a comeback like this, that it's making people wonder and also laugh. So I like that quality in people. So it's irrespective of what language it is. When I look at people talk, I get inspired in many ways.
Okay, nice. Uh, where do you see the future of communication? So communication has been an integral part of in today's culture. Why I'm saying, because many of the earlier in India we don't have many IT companies, but
Hmm.
nowadays India has become a global hub of IT operations and everything. And I see many students, they are from BTech background, they are trying to improve their communication. They are software developers, engineers. They are living outside India, but they are trying to improve their communication. So, do you feel that communication is going to be one of the biggest industries in the upcoming future? And how do you see the scope or career opportunities as trainers in
Hmm.
this field?
Okay, from the talking about the aspect that how important is communication in our everyday life, and to be a skilled communicator. I think even people who do not need in their everyday life, I mean, their work, their role doesn't require them to keep talking to people, or they are into this tech-based environment where the only work they do is with the systems or the machines that they handle. But I think in inside every individual there is always a desire to be able to communicate well. I think that would be there in every individual. Nobody would be there who would feel that I don't want to share my ideas, or I don't want to be expressive. Everybody wants to be expressive. They want to be heard. This is
People
kind
don't
of
share because of, yeah, people don't share because of they think that they will not be respected, or their
huh.
views will not be, they will be judged, or
Yes,
they will be judged on communication. So I see many of
inhibitors
this.
are there, that
Yeah.
people are they are blocked by the judgmental approach of the world. So
Hmm.
this message, if whoever is listening, is number one, let's not be bothered about that. If you want, if you have that desire also that you want to learn, you can do it. But then you should, these what other people say should not be blocking you. I'll give a very small example. I remember, I think it was in the year 2015 or 16, I used to teach somebody, and there it was their nephew
Okay.
who didn't know English that well, but he used to try. I was not his teacher. So
Okay.
one day, these kids in that family, they were talking to me. So when I arrived there, they started talking to me, and they shared this little story that, ma'am, what happened yesterday, and they were very excited to talk about it. So I also paid attention, and they said that yesterday we went to this restaurant, and this little boy, the nephew, that guy, their cousins, these cousins were there. So they were telling me that he started talking in English deliberately, and somebody just made fun of him, saying that when you don't know English, why are you speaking in this language, something like that. Somebody mocked him. This boy, he didn't lose his confidence, nor did it made him feel embarrassed. And I was so happy to know this, that his response was, so what, I'm trying to learn, what a big deal. I'm trying to learn, and if I don't use it, how would I further excel? So that was like amazing. I mean, he was hardly 14, 15-year old, and this was the reply that he gave. And they shared this with me, and they thought that I am also probably going to mock him. But then my response was amazing. This is what you should do. You don't know that language, you're trying, and that's the best thing. And if you don't try, how would you succeed if that step is not taken? So a lot of people, they want to take that step, but they don't push themselves, thinking that people would laugh, somebody would make fun of me. Uh, I mean, if we
Many people want to share many things, and they
yes,
are afraid. I see they are afraid to share their views, their ideas on social media platforms, because they think that they will be judged
correct,
on certain points. And our
absolutely.
society has become like this, especially in India. We see nowadays uh, so many issues are going on, and people are afraid to share their ideas
Hmm.
in any of the topics. And even you see celebrities, they put their ideas, and people troll them. So they are
Right.
used to it. Many of them used to it, and many of them have quit social media because of this, because they don't want to get trolled. It affects
Correct.
them mentally somehow,
Right.
right?
I
So
think
my
one has to do things respectfully. We also see people posting anything or everything and using a lot of offensive language, which I don't think is a way of communicating at all. That's not the purpose of communication. So even if we tend to disagree with something, so let's learn to respectfully disagree, and that comes with our choice of words. So one is that you want to express but you're not trying. That's wrong. And another is you're expressing anything that comes to your mind, and not paying heed to what
without any filters.
yes, and not understanding the fact that it may hurt sentiments of people. I think that's not communication when you're deliberately trying to hurt people. So even if you disagree to something, there has to be a way to respectfully do so. So
Right.
my message to people would be that if you want to communicate, you all can. We all are humans, and we have been blessed by, the Almighty in such a way that we've been given the that brain to function in such a way that we can learn, we can adapt, and we can do whatever we want to. So let's go ahead and work on it. Then comes as a career when we are talking about, like, your one question was about trainers in the communication industry. I think this will definitely grow because now everybody knows the significance of being able to articulate, and one is talking and one is effective communication. So everybody can talk, but not all can effectively communicate. And I think gradually every teenager also that you see, once they are hitting their high school and once they're completing it, about to enter their university education, they all are now aware of these things, that it would matter, that irrespective of my academic excellence or my professional expertise, maybe at one point there can be a situation where I'll be gauged on how I'm going to deal with people, whether it is my interpersonal skill, that those soft skill, they will be needed. And I think people are getting aware, and this industry where coaches are there, trainers are there, who are helping others, who have themselves learned or taken some kind of guidance from somewhere, they are now helping the community so much. I think it will grow, and there will be a point once when people will realize that this has to be incorporated. I think maybe now schools are also doing the same. They're incorporating many skills in the school level, where children are,
Yeah.
they are aware that they'll get exposed to this later, and I think that's a good initiative. And they
Even
must.
parents are very much aware of this, and they are giving their kids to public speaking classes. And
Right. But they should not be pressurizing children. I can see some parents, you know,
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
fretting a lot about their child not speaking. I think we were also kids, and I don't think so. If we recall our childhood, I don't think so that I used to, go to the stage and speak all the time. Maybe we are doing it now, but every child is different, and from the experiences that they have, we shape them. We should not be pressurizing them. Like, I see a lot of parents putting a lot of burden on their children: do this and this and that, participate in everything, you have to win. I don't buy that idea. I think you make your child
It's
get the
very,
make your child get exposure. Don't make put it as a burden that there has to be victory and
it's a
everything.
it's a very unhealthy kind of a competition, and sometimes
Correct.
becomes toxic environment for
Yes,
these children.
it's there among older people also,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the mindset for older people has to alter. Then we can work on children. If children are watching us, they imitate what we do. We need to start
Yeah.
with ourselves first.
Yeah, so I want to ask you this question about passion, because you are following one of your passion, which is dancing. But before that, I want to finish this segment of communication. So I want to understand from you, uh, what are the main parameters or ingredients of an effective communication, and how one can master this craft according to you.
Okay, so for
Also, I want you to highlight few points on intonation, articulation, and voice modulation.
okay, the first thing, in order to be an effective communicator, communication is not just speaking; it's also listening. First, you need to start listening to people and not just blabber and keep talking. So, number one point is that you need to be a good listener. And when it comes to speaking well or expressing your ideas well, I would say that you should know what you want to convey, what words you're using, and how you're using them. So that's where intonation would also, come into picture. So I read it in a book, and that book I, recommend to a lot of my students as well. It's called Am I Making Myself Clear by Terry Felber. This is a wonderful book. I guess people can get it on Amazon also easily. I read it when I completed my class 12. The credit goes to my one of my maternal uncles. So he is the one who introduced me to all these good books. Even I think the last time I met him, he lives in Bangalore. I think the last time I met him, I got one book from his shelf. It was about how you can deal with stress. I've forgotten the name, but it also has different stories in it. Oh my God! Oh mind, relax, please. That was the
Okay.
title of the book by some Swamiji. But I don't. I mean, encourage people to believe in things which they don't. But it has nothing to do with our culture or religion. But it's more about different stories which teach you, that how you can avoid being so stressful about things about which you're fretting over right now. So, I mean, just sharing the names of the books. So, Am I Making Myself Clear by Terry Felber? There is a quote which says that you are judged by certain things in your life, and that could be that who you are, what you do. So, people would judge you by that. And the other two things on which people would definitely assess you would be what you speak and how you speak. So these last two things I would talk about: what you say and how you say it. It really matters. So you have to choose your words carefully. What words once uttered, they can't be taken back. And number two, there should be the right tone of saying things. So you might, I hear people like, for example, give me remarks. Maybe this person wants to
Yeah.
say, could you please share my remarks?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the line could be, give me remarks. They may not
Tell
know,
me.
they may not be
Tell me
disrespectful to
about my communication.
so this is how, send me, send me, give me. This is like the way they speak, but maybe their
Yeah.
intention is not wrong. They don't want to disrespect me, but it sounds disrespectful. I mean, whoever they are talking to, tell me, give me. So
Yeah.
it's like in Hindi, de do, chalo. So it sounds like that. So we have to work on our tone, and we have to use words. So adding those, what we teach in school, also use these powerful words. Or I don't know what term schools use it, what kind of lingo they have, but we say, no, add that thank you, please,
Please. Yeah.
kindly.
Yeah. Magical words.
Harm anybody. Magic words, right? So it is not going to harm one, but I don't know why people don't use it. Why can't this
Yeah.
sound polite? This sounds so rude. And this is what I would like to say, that that a communicator, if you want to effectively communicate, everybody wants respect. Nobody wants to be treated in an ill fashion. So it should start with you, that when you're talking to somebody, let's be polite. Whether you are speaking to a pizza delivery guy or a person who has just come to deliver your products to you, let's not be rude. I see a lot of people being rude. So for me, effective communication is speak with people in a way that you want to be spoken to, in that tone. So you don't have to take training for it. It has to start within you. So, and
Yeah.
when somebody is talking, don't interrupt them. Listen to whatever they're saying. This trick would help everybody, irrespective of what domain they are in. Whether you are a teacher, whether you are at a bank, I don't know how well it would gel with them if I tell them to be keen listeners, but whichever
Yeah.
sector you are serving, one has to first start listening. A lot of times we intervene, we don't let a person complete what he or she wants to, and that ruins it all. So a communicator, it's not about just speaking well but also listening well. And to polish your skills in it, you have to do a lot of things. First, start coming out of your shell and talk to people. Do not be too worried about what and what the circumstances are, how people would feel if you'll not try anything. Like we say, when a child doesn't have an inhibition, when we talk about
Yeah.
babies,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
they crawl, they try to stand up, they fall, but they do not have any inhibition, so they try once again. They keep trying and trying, and bam, one day we see them walking, taking their first steps, and so beautifully, without any support.
Okay.
The same thing goes with us. So in our lives, if we talk about being a flawless communicator, although flawless would be something which is overrated. I think we may
Yeah.
make mistakes, but let's try to excel. Whatever level we are at right now, we can go one level up gradually. But let's try to learn and not stop. Even if we fall, we make a mistake, let it be. So when you want to make it effective, effective starts with us. Giving up attitude will not work. To answer the question of being an effective communicator, I would like to know what aspect of intonation and articulation were we discussing. Sorry if I have gone on a different
No,
tangent.
no,
I hope not.
no. You absolutely made the right points, but I would like to know more about intonation and articulation for the viewers. Can you explain exactly how important these two skills are when it comes to effective communication?
Right. So, um, I think it's important that we also understand um what these two terms mean. That one,
Yeah.
that you're able to express things well. Intonation is an element in your speech where I usually tell my students that you see a wave rising and falling. The same way in your speech, there should be a rise and fall of your tone. It cannot
Right.
be monotonous. I'll give you
Right.
one example, and you can see the difference. Like
Right.
in the exam, like IELTS, we have a part where we ask questions about their personal lives. So the
Right.
question can be, "I know your full name. Where are you from? What do you do?" These are a few questions. So I'll take the very first few questions. May I
Okay.
know your full name? Krithika Krishna. Where are you from? Delhi. I'm from Delhi. Are you a student? I'm not trying to mock anybody. I'm just trying to explain what
Yeah. Yeah. You're just
intonation.
giving the example. Yeah.
So if I ask, are you a student or do you work? They may say, I'm a student. I study food technology from Bhaskaracharya School of College of Science. So if you see here, my tone was flat. This flat thing will not impact much. So you need to have rises and falls. My
Right.
name is my name is Krithika Krishna. I'm from Delhi. I am from Delhi. So I'm trying to have rise and fall in my tone. And that
Right.
would
Like
make your
wave.
speech more impactful. That wave has to be there. When we speak in a flat tone, I don't think so. Like it would sound that attractive, although we are not trying to lure people into our speech, but then there would be a lot of people who may be listening who want to be public speakers, or who want to go and face the audience. In that case, a flat tone will never work. Even in our daily lives, flat tone will never work. So we all want that change. So that change should come in your tone as well. And for example, when we are answering questions, a lot of people end with a high tone. For example, if I'm talking about my hobbies, well, I have several hobbies. One of my hobbies is dancing, and that's all. It ends, the sentence ends. One of my hobbies is dancing. So here what did I do? My tone went up. Usually if I tone goes up, there is an indication that you're going to add more. One of my hobbies is dancing and the other one would be singing. So here one of my hobbies is dancing, and I'm continuing, and another one would be singing. In singing, the tone went down. So this is intonation. Even when you're taking certain sentences where you're putting that stress will make a difference. We can
So
take any.
what is the difference? Can you explain for the viewers between voice modulation and intonation?
So it's more about putting right stress at the right time at the right word. For instance, voices, this can be called a part of voice modulation, where you want to sound in a certain way, where you're trying to be, when you're trying to be polite, you try to tone down. Could you please do it? So my voice changed. So there is nothing related to intonation here, but intonation comes in your entire sentence where you're going to put word stress. I'll take a simple example now. Suppose you ask me what's my name, and I say my name is Krithika Krishna. I'm giving more stress to my name. My name, my name. So supposedly I gave name of my father, and you say no, I'm asking your name. Oh, my name is Kritika Krishna. So there is a difference. One, you're putting a stress on your name. That's also, word stress should be there. And when I say my name is Kritika Krishna, so maybe somebody heard it wrong, or somebody is calling somebody else as Kritika Krishna, and I say, hey, my name is Kritika Krishna. There's a lot of difference. So this would come in your speech automatically. I'm talking about in general. When you are
Hmm.
talking to somebody, you need to have proper, rise and fall in your tone. Otherwise, it won't be that impactful. Like I was giving an example of flat introduction. My name is Kritika Krishna. I am from Delhi. And don't be robotic. You should not sound scripted. So when we talk about being more expressive. The expression comes from your voice. The expression comes from, I'll try to take very layman terms. Expression comes through your voice. It comes from the way we put stress on the words. So I
Right.
don't know how many people would understand the technical terms, so taking in a very layman lingo. So your voice, your word stress, and I think facial expressions too. It's beyond your voice and your word choices. So
Yeah.
um,
Hand
I
gestures are also important while having a
a lot of
conversation.
people ask me that, Kritika, if I move my hands, is it going to create any negative impact? So
Hmm.
to help you with it, I would say anybody, now I am talking and you can see my hands moving. There is no harm in moving your hands. It's something that is happening involuntarily. We're not trying to deliberately take my hand, and move it, but it is happening naturally as we speak. So there is no harm. But a lot of people may have, which is like maybe 3 out of 20 people possibly, whose hand
Yeah.
movement could be very wide. So that should not happen when you are on any stage, on any platform. For example, right now I'm talking, and let's say I move a lot. I move in such a way that my hands are moving very wide. That's
Hmm.
not great. So you have to control it. I think that very few people do. I have seen it personally whenever I have made people, even in my offline classes that I used to take. So I used to see a few people, move their hands here and there. So I used to tell them that hand movement is fine, but it shouldn't be wide. It should not be in such a way that it could hit people around you.
Hmm.
And another thing that I would suggest people not to do is carry, their hand towel or handkerchief when they are speaking. So that's not such a great idea, because I think the attention goes to that. What I
Yeah.
maybe if you have to carry something, a tissue would work, but avoid your hankies because they are very large and the attention goes directly to your hand. And otherwise movement of hands is okay when you're sitting, and you're sitting with somebody in such a
Hmm.
situation where you're seated and there is a table. So you can probably clasp it and you can keep it on the table. But movement should not, you should not be refraining yourself from any movement, because that's natural. When I'm talking, I am also moving. So let's
Yeah.
not stop. Don't be too, a very wide movement should not be there.
Okay.
And eye
Right.
contact, most important. Eye contact.
Yeah.
uh, some people look at the roof or look
Yeah.
left,
Somebody.
right.
Yeah.
So a communicator, effective one, would always have right eye contact and a smile. So it's not going to, as we say, doesn't cost much. So when you meet
mm,
anybody for the first time, you are at an interview, any place where you're going for the first time, or even not just the first time, regularly, don't forget to smile, greeting people with a, a pleasant smile on your face. That adds to your personality. So I have to actually tell people sometimes, why such a serious face, such a serious
mm.
expression when you're talking. I'm not asking them to smile every at every sentence whichever is there, but be
Yeah.
natural. Don't try to sit in such a way, like for exams like IELTS, where you have to meet an examiner. I know it can be stressful, meeting and meeting a human in front of you, a human rater, and you know that he's going to evaluate you. It does bring butterflies in one's stomach, but then that should not make your expressions too rigid and robotic like this. So you should smile. It's a human conversation going to happen. You're not talking to the machine, so you must smile.
Uh, so, Kritika, we are at the end of our podcast, and it was really exciting the way you have explained all the concepts for the viewers. Uh, this last question is very, very personal. Like, how important is following passion? The name of this show is Passion Podcast. Why?
Hmm.
Because people, if you have seen the previous episodes, you'll find out people who are very passionate, just like you, passionate about something like maybe teaching. Many of them are teachers or trainers. So that's why they talk about their passion. And you are also a dancer. So, how important is it to follow your passion, no matter what age you are?
Hmm.
And at the same time, one more question I would like to add, which you can answer by the end of the session after answering this question. Importance of mental health, especially after the COVID pandemic.
Hmm.
These two, yeah, questions.
So first, I would address the question on passion.
Passion, yeah, yeah,
Everybody would have one or the other activity or something that they are crazy about.
yeah,
We all are in a world where we are. It's a cutthroat competition these days. Um, this complete, messing up everywhere, where you're running after your office work and doing other things, and you're totally occupied. I agree, we all are. But then there's this concept, what do we call it? YOLO. You live only once, something like that. So
hmm,
you live only once, so live it fully. If there is a passion that you have, I'm sure everybody would have, and you should introspect and see what is something that is giving you ultimate happiness, and that's what you should do. Uh,
yeah,
Apart from what you're doing for making a living, you should also live. And that, by living, I mean to say that you should be able to enjoy your life. So for me, it's dancing. And after I gave birth to my daughter, after she turned 5, I mean, at that stage, I joined and I started learning dancing again, and it's keeping me completely excited throughout the week. I wait for weekends, and everybody would have something or the other. First, recognize that and follow it, because it is connected to the mental health question as well. If you're just working like a robot and the entire routine is so mundane, you do not have activities that you do that excite you or
yeah.
that bring in a smile on your face, then how is it worth living? I know everybody would have a lot of other responsibilities are there, or could be the circumstances where they may not be able to take out time. But I feel when people answer, sorry, I didn't have time, I say that
Hmm,
we didn't manage time. We
hmm.
all have 24 hours. You have 24, I have 24, the whole world has 24 hours. We need to learn to manage time. Many of my friends also tell me, I also want to learn dancing. I also want to do this. Say, go do it. Why still saying this line that I want to do it? Go and do it. I
Hmm.
think maybe I might have also done the same earlier. But you have to take that step, and then you will feel you're so happy all the time because you're doing something that you love.
Something which excites you, right?
Yeah, it could be singing, it could be dancing, it could be playing sport. A lot of men who used to be sports enthusiasts, they stop playing. So please go
Yeah,
and play. lot of women, I think women mostly like lot of artistic work. Like I'll take my example, like I'm into dancing. Many women used to pursue singing before they got married or before they started
or
working.
arts and crafts.
Art, yeah, drawing, sketching. Then when I ask them questions, they say I used to do it, now I don't have time. So
Mm.
I would say this to everybody, regardless of what your occupation is. You all should follow your passion, and let that passion not die. And think one day that I could have. I don't want that I could have. Oh, I did it. I made it. I enjoyed it. Let's have more positive expressions. No, why I could have. Oh, I would have done so and so if. Let's not have those. Let it be in grammar only, the conditional sentences. And let's
Yeah,
not put it in our real life. Let's make it happen. It's in our hands. We can do it. We need to manage time and do it. And addressing the second question, it is pretty much associated with it. Mental health improves when you do things that you like to do. Please take out and give yourself that priority. I think not many people prioritize themselves. I know everybody has dozens of responsibilities, but you have your own responsibility as well. If you would be mentally fit, if you have that physical wellness and mental wellness, an amalgamation of both, you would be able to do double of what you're doing, maybe quadruple of what you're doing now. So please prioritize your mental health and do activities. Uh, Prioritizing is important. I think not many of us do that. If we start doing it and learn to say no as well when it is needed, and don't overburden yourself with all the professional commitment or maybe whatever your relatives or friends give you as tasks, also learn to say no. When you do this, your mental health will improve, and have one person or somebody with whom you can share your feelings. And if you're not doing that, you are going to sulk and have a life which will be miserable. And a miserable life is just a life not well spent. You're doing it to yourself. I think it's, when we say, it's a matter of choice. You want to lead a miserable life or you want to lead a wonderful life. So
it's in your
uh,
hand.
yes, so passion podcast, I guess, I'm sure Sandeep must also be very passionate about it. That's why he's doing it. And I'm sure it gives him a lot of zeal and that happiness of speaking with so many people. So please follow it. I think you are also doing a wonderful job, Sandeep. And this is an amazing platform where you're making, people, inviting people and getting to know about them. And I think with all the speakers who are coming to your platform, people also learn more. So we also learn more when we watch them speak. So it's amazing.
Okay, so with this, I have one more question to ask you
Yeah.
before you go, which is you mentioned that if you are doing the activity which gives you happiness, mentally you feel well. But
Hmm.
so as you said that it's like a very tough competition. People are running, they don't have time. So this is also sometimes can give you depression and can
Correct.
break you as mentally,
Hmm.
and it is difficult. It is very
Hmm.
difficult. So, so like if you're doing training and you're dancing and you're creating content, so you're busy all the time. You're busy, but it
Yes.
might happen sometimes you also feel low.
Hmm.
How you cope up in those situations? What you tell yourself or what you do so that you can again come back to the track? Many people are facing this kind of problems after, especially after COVID.
So if you personally, what I do is, um, as- I'm also a passionate singer, though a little amateur one. So what I
Yeah,
do is, when I feel low, I sing. I don't know how bothersome it could be to my neighbors or to the people
yeah.
in my family who are listening to it. I mean, my voice such so loudly singing. I sing. I just pour my heart out and into singing. Or another thing that I do, which really helps me cope with my stress, is I watch this web series. A very popular one is Friends. I have watched it, I don't know how many times, but anytime I feel low, when I feel that now I can't handle it, it's going beyond my control. Where I feel so stressed at times because at times I have back to back classes. certain changes. Like in the beginning I told you, when if my things don't go as planned, I panic at times. So when things are beyond my control and I know that I may break down, I simply take my phone, or on the TV, I turn on Netflix and I watch Friends. I have watched it multiple times, countless number of times I've watched it. I just watch it again. Any episode, any season, I just start blindly watching, and that brings a smile on my face. I feel a little relaxed. Everybody would have some or the other element that can entertain them for that moment. I think don't keep it to yourself. Either you share it, either you vent it out. If you don't have anyone, I know it's very hard, to survive that way, but if you can't vent it out, then try to divert your energy in doing something that can calm you down. For me, it is singing. Like I said, I don't bother about my neighbors. I know it is going to be a trouble, but you have to do something for yourself, or watch some program, or give a call to that friend or that close person of yours who can listen to you. But that is something that you should not repeatedly keep doing, because whatever negative emotions we have could affect that person as well. I feel that way. So I'm not a person who might give a call and start uh, shedding all my negative emotions on a person. Sometimes I do when I know I need help, but I would suggest that try to invest your energy, that negative thing, on other activities that can calm you down. If you just sit at one place thinking about it, it's not going to help. This might sound funny, but I also do another thing when I'm totally aggressive, or I feel that I'm highly infuriated. It might sound funny, but I do this. I start doing the dishes. And I went out all my emotions of that aggression on those dishes, poor utensils, but I do that, and it calms me down for 5 minutes or so. I might be rubbing on that utensil very hard, but after some time I'll be better. I'll feel better. This is also something I know it might sound funny, but I do this instead
Do
of
you
hurting other people through
do
my
you
words.
do meditation or yoga or any kind of physical activities?
I don't do meditation, but I try to introspect whatever I have done, what I should have. I mean, what I can improve. I do that, but meditation I have not tried, but I think that helps. That works wonders. From what my friends who follow, the meditative path, I think it helps. But people should do it properly. I know with meditation it's not that easy, because your mind has a lot of pent up emotions. So, this is what I personally do. But we all have to figure out what is that activity that can calm us down. It can also be playing with your dog, or playing with your child.
You have a dog?
I don't have. My brother has. I don't have a
Okay.
dog, but I'm an animal lover. So if any animal is in front of me, I think I'll forget my worries. I'll start playing with it. So do things which, or maybe if you feel that you're depressed, you do not have a support system. If it is feasible, then you should even own a pet. Adopt. There are so many stray pups, beautiful stray pups there. Adopt. Give them also a shelter. All these things will bring happiness and it will calm you down. It's just that you have to first prioritize that your mental health is important, I feel. If you don't do that, you'll not take steps and you'll be all the more, in that depressive zone. We all can come out of it. We have to take that step.
Sulk into it, right? Yeah.
You need to take that step, because uh, many of us want to, but sometimes we are also lazy. We don't do things for ourselves. And a very important point I want to share here is, do not compare yourselves with others. Major mental health issue is because we see other people doing well, or being happy, and we feel, oh, I have not achieved this, I've not done this. It's not going to help you. You see your progress through your past years. Don't have that benchmark that this person bought a property or bought a car, or has reached this level in terms of his profession. That is not going to assess your progress. Your progress is how you were and how you are now. If you don't see progress, then you should be definitely unhappy about it, and take steps. Don't just remain unhappy. Take steps and see. And I'm sure everybody would be able to see some improvement in their past and the present time. And if they don't see that, if the graph is going down, whether it is passion, profession, something in their personal circumstance, it could be relationships also. So compare your life within your life only. Don't add another entity, any other person, and create him as a benchmark. I think this is one of the major reasons of people suffering. They're not happy to see others happy. So, and please have a heart. If somebody is happy, you also spread that happiness. You need not be envious about it. Why? Everybody wants to be happy. Spread the joy, and stop comparing. Compare yourself with yourself. That's what I would say.
Sometimes we see that people become so aggressive, right? And but I believe in the universe and the energies and karma. So whatever you do, it comes back to you, right?
Comes back. Yes.
Is it because they become aggressive that they have some problems? Like everybody has problems, but they are not able to cope with that problem. They're not come up with the solutions because they become aggressive. What do you think?
Aggression is something that doesn't happen at that one point in time, Sandeep. I think it's all as we are raised, we may have had certain experiences which all together create a personality of ours, or that a particular trait gets instilled in us, maybe of being very aggressive, ferociously handling things. Or there are people who are totally submissive. People can rule over them. I think all this happens as we are raised, and experiences may be making us that way. Our personalities can be molded, but if you want to be an irrevocable person, then nobody can help you. You should first know if there are any weak areas or weak points in my personality, or something that is affecting my life or the people involved in my life. We should start working on it. And if aggression is one of the reasons, then, like I said, we have to do these things, like venting out in the right manner, which constructs your personality and does not destroy it. But aggression is something that I would totally say it might vary for individuals. But from my what I have seen, I've seen people getting aggressive at one point because of many pent up emotions. This is what I have experienced. I have also personally done that because of pent up emotions. I have been aggressive in my past as well.
Pent up emotions means you're talking about a lot of emotions at one time.
Certain emotions that you did not vent out at all, and you are altogether, there's an outburst of all. You might be sulking every time. You have been grumpy because of one or the other thing, and then a saturation point comes, and at that saturation point you get aggressive. I feel this is what happens with people. I'm taking my example also here. I mean, from my what I have seen, when I turned aggressive, I started, or maybe let's say, yelling and shouting at people. That was only because when I had a lot of pent up emotions.
Right.
So we all need to have a source where we can vent out, and we should work on it. Otherwise, we may not be able to control ourselves all the time. That's what we're talking about, mental health. So
Yes.
mentally, one has to be strong, but strong does not mean that you keep silent every time. You are trying to you are trying to tolerate every time whatever you're going through. That's not strength always. Speak at the right moment, at the right time. Don't be too reactive. Respond to situations in a positive way that do not hurt sentiments of others. Like in the recent past, I just read one. I have a habit of going through different websites, and whatever interesting thing I catch, I try to incorporate in my life also, and I
Okay.
try to share on my WhatsApp status and everything. Sometimes funny ones as well. So this is something that I read in the recent past, that don't be a person who's like this aerated drink, a bottle of aerated drink that when you open it, it
Hmm.
just bursts out. So be a bottle of water that, what, no matter what happens, anybody shakes that bottle, when somebody tries to open it and pour it into a glass, it it is being poured gently and it's not bursting. I learned from that. Let me tell you, this is something that happened in the recent past. I learned from that. So anytime anything negative also happens, I try to tell myself, let's not be the bottle of aerated drink, and also drink a lot of water. That
Right.
helps. Drinking water helps a lot. I have started doing it. I used to skip drinking water most of the time, and when you're dehydrated, that
Yeah.
also affects your body and mind. So start drinking a lot of water. Stay hydrated.
Any health tip you want to give to people who are looking to develop different kinds of hobbies or looking to be more active?
A simple walk would help. We should all walk. Exercising is something not everybody would do in a disciplined fashion, but at least we can start with simple steps like walking. Please don't take the escalator or elevator when you're traveling. Try to take the stairs. Like whenever you're traveling anywhere, try to take the stairs. That helps. Imagine that you're not in the world of technology, then what would you do? Do those things. I know technology is making us really lazy. We've turned indolent
Yeah.
because of that. So I think we should skip that. And if we can have some time for our mental and physical or emotional wellness, is maybe confine some time in your day where you're not using technology, would also help you get fit. I mean, I don't know whether it is making your body with a particular physique, but it is going to help you in many ways. So try to get rid of technology for some time. In a day, you keep some hours fixed, and maybe what I would say is the best workout for one is to walk as much as you can, maybe 30 minutes walk or a 20 minutes walk, and maybe work out at home if you want to, your want to reduce weight, or you want to just get fit. I think it's not about weight control, but for me it's more about being fit and healthy. And if you want to do that, simple exercises now you have on your mobile phone, you can see so many simple exercises, just do them. That helps. You don't have to actually go and get a gym membership. Everything can be done at home, but it all needs discipline, Sandeep. And
Right.
either we all are procrastinating, we want to do but we don't want. That's why I said we don't prioritize. There's no strong commitment towards it. We take it lightly, then we start comparing, and then the whole story begins of our physical and mental health taking a toll. I hope you understood what I was
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah, so we actually about to finish that, but again, it exceeded 17 more minutes because your the conversation was really excited, and I didn't want to stop you. So once again, Kritika, thank you so much for coming today and taking time out from your busy schedule. And I hope that all the viewers who are watching or will be watching this podcast, they must be, following the tips which you are sharing, which you follow personally also. And anything you want to say to the audience who are watching this podcast before you go?
Um, if you want to work on your own personality, it's not about just being a person who's able to speak well, but I have recommended, like I mentioned the name of this book earlier, which is Am I Making Myself Clear by Terry Felber. This is a self-help book. I don't think so you would have to spare a lot of time. It's a book with a very few pages, but invest time, read it, and develop a habit of reading. And uh, reading is also highly helpful for your mental health.
Yes, kind
Uh,
of exercise for our brain.
I think we all must read, eat nutritious food. I don't know, I myself sometimes don't follow that, but I think nutrition is significant for us. Uh, Exercise, let your body have that exercise by physical movement, and don't get stuck to just one place all the time. If your work and your lifestyle is sedentary, try to take out some or the other, take some action for your body, so that you can be healthy. It's not about with the that kind of physique or a figure that you need, men and women. You need
Hmm.
to be healthy. so that you don't have any ailment. Now we can see so many young people suffering from cardiac issues, so and many other. So your physical and mental well-being is in your hands. Don't let other people don't let other people affect your life. They are not going to run your life. It is your body, it is your mind, so work on it. Read, exercise, eat nutritious food, and drink plenty of water. I think we missed it, so we should also drink water. So that's what I would say. And follow your passion. With this passion podcast, it should, whoever it is reaching, let's be more and more passionate and not regret anything in our lives. Let's work on that, on the passion portion of our life.
Right. So with that note, if you want to follow Kritika, you can type "Learn with BKK" on YouTube to follow you on YouTube, and also on Instagram, "Learn with BKK." Right,
Yes, that's
where you
my
will
way.
find amazing content, because I've personally seen those content and felt it really amazing. And you can inspire and motivate many people, and I am also one of them. So once again, thank you, Kritika, for motivating me to make some
It
amazing
was my
content.
pleasure. I would love to get your suggestions also, in case you want me to produce any kind of content which you feel can be helpful, or the audience who's watching. I would be very happy to receive your suggestions, and maybe whatever innovative idea I can get, I'll try to put it across.
Yeah,
So I'm open to
don't stop
the
make
suggestions.
contents. Keep on giving those contents on a regular basis.
Yes, I will surely do that with the motivation I've got from my daughter and now from you, and
Yeah,
some more people who've been pushing me to do this. I will
we
definitely
want to
not.
see more video contents.
Definitely, I'll do that. And it was a complete pleasure being here talking to you, Sandeep. I would want you to keep doing this, and let every individual, I mean, there's so many inspiring people in the world. I would love to hear them on your platform. So I would be eagerly waiting for all the episodes, and wishing you the best to,
Thank you so
explore
much.
more out of this platform and let others also learn out of it.
Yeah, yeah, that is the sole purpose of this podcast, to bring people who are already doing so many things and to share their insights of how they are managing, so that other can also get inspired. You see many people, many
Absolutely.
students, they are clueless. They don't have any idea that how they should approach life, how they should you know take out time for themselves. So with this podcast, I think many of my students given me this feedback that they are learning so many things, and they want to see more people sharing their life and their passion and all the things.
So
So
apart from like just inspiring, I think when people want to work on their communication, this is a great method. When you listen to other people, that's also how you learn. And sometimes people don't even know what should they listen to. So I
yeah,
guess you have given your students the right source. And when you are their coach and you're talking to so many people, they would get to see that my coach has been speaking like this, and
mm,
he, those people, the guests that you talk to, so they get a perfect platform there, that okay, this is the right place, because a lot of people don't even know what should they watch, who should they listen to.
yeah.
So I'm glad that you're doing this, and I'll
Thank you so
definitely
much,
share your
Krithika.
platform with other people, so that more and more people can watch and they can learn.
Thank you so much, Kritika, once again, and I wish you all the best on your
Thank
teaching career, as well as content creation and dancing career,
you.
and follow your passion and continue singing. Okay, make
Definitely,
some
definitely.
videos also if possible, right?
Yes, you'll see very soon my singing
I've seen
videos.
one. I've seen one on the WhatsApp status.
The singing one.
Yeah, this
Oh,
guitar, and yeah,
can't play the guitar. I was just holding
yeah,
it and trying to pull it off somehow. But yes, I will try to pursue singing also soon. Thank you so
yeah.
much for inviting me. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
All the best to you, and enjoy your weekends. Take care. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.
See you again. Yeah.